When we're just getting started with Alert Stratus and we're ready to start using the cases entity, we're going to want to take some time to make sure that we have all the system requirements and prerequisites all configured before we start to really use this entity. So the cases entity in Alert Stratus is really just using the standard CRM cases entity, but there have been a couple of extensions and some additions to this entity, so now they can be billable and costed. So a couple of the items that need to be configured before we can start to use this new entity in Alert Stratus. First, we have just the standard CRM accounts and the addresses and the contacts that need to be configured. We have our service contracts. So if we're going to be taking cases that are going to be tied to service contracts or account equipment, for example, we want to make sure that we watch that service contracts prerequisites video on the self-paced learning section so we can get a better idea of how we're setting up service contracts so that we can start to take cases against it. Next thing we want to make sure we configure are our service codes as well as our coverage codes. So the service codes being the different types of services that we're providing, so should that be time and materials or support non-billable or perhaps subcontractor service and so on. And then these can actually house each of our rates for these particular services as well. The next piece are the coverage codes. So if we have different hours of the day are going to cost different rates, so perhaps 8:30 to 5 is a normal rate and anything after 5 is perhaps an overtime rate, we can set those up using the coverage codes in Alert Stratus. The other components we might have are the individual users, so we might want to add some more detail on each of the users so that we can better track the details for each user of the system. Again, we have our bill to account and address. And then the last component are the price levels and the different price lists in the system. So the price list is something that's built inside CRM, but we want to make sure that these are configured before we start to use these inside of Alert Stratus, and particularly with the cases entity. So if you want to get an idea of how we're going to be configuring each one of these items, you can refer to the Alert Stratus setup documentation that's available on the Alert Stratus website, and you can also watch some of the short demonstration videos on the self-paced learning under the Alert Stratus setup section as well.